Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some massive news for the Oklahoma Sooners from the 2024 high school recruiting trail. As one of the top offensive linemen and one of my personal favorites in the 2024 cycle, Eddy Pierre-Louis commits to the Oklahoma Sooners. And this fires me up for a couple different reasons. One, there's been a lot of buzz around the Oklahoma offensive line and what it's going to look like the next couple of years after Caden Green decides to transfer out. This is a massive addition, not only from a talent standpoint, but from a depth standpoint for the Sooners heading into the SEC in 2024. But what excites me most about Eddy Pierre-Louis and him committing to Oklahoma is this is a guy that has all the traits in the world to be an all-SEC NFL caliber offensive lineman from a trait standpoint. He needs to be coached up a little bit, that's for sure, but he's going to a place that has, if not one of, the best offensive line coaches in the game, and Coach Bill B. Really excited to see his development over the next couple of years. And this is a guy that, just kind of special in terms of the big body and the athleticism that he possesses, right? 6'3", 320 plus pounds. Oklahoma fans, I'm sure you've seen the videos of him running on the track. This dude absolutely burns. The movement skills that he has for how big he is, it's special. And a guy that has so much upside as an offensive lineman. Really excited to get into him. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys and a special shout out to the Oklahoma fans. The amount of support you guys have shown the boys, whether we're talking transfer portal, whether we're talking the high school recruiting trail, cannot thank you guys enough. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Get the Boomer Sooners going in the comment section. I love you guys when you guys drop that in. And without further ado, let's get into Eddy Pierre-Louis. And what you're going to see on the film, and we'll turn the film on in a second, is a nasty offensive lineman that is extremely athletic. But the thing that impresses me most, and you'll see this on the film, he works up to the second level extremely well. And all that athleticism, and you hear this conversation a lot about athletes in their track and field background, and sometimes you don't see it translate to the football field. For Eddy Pierre-Louis, you see the athleticism and the power output that he has in the shot put. It shows up on the football field. And that's what excites you the most. Turning on the film for a guy like Eddy Pierre-Louis, who, again, 24/7 Sports, not necessarily the highest on him. You check out Rivals rankings, they have him as a top 30 player in the country, almost 5-star status. Eddy Pierre-Louis, one of the more exciting players in this class. And the first thing you're going to see, just the effort in the long speed that this kid has. He is 320 plus pounds, chasing down a player from the backside. You have to love that. But this is what excites you the most. When he gets out in space, he's so smooth of a mover. You see that nasty work, always looking for work. Again, putting people absolutely in the dirt. The power in his hands combined with the athleticism that he has when he's getting to the second level. This is where he excels, right? Picking up a backer, putting him absolutely in the dirt. This is the type of stuff that Bill Bedenbaugh and this Oklahoma staff must have absolutely loved on the film. Really, really good at pulling, has that athleticism to get to the second level. This is going to be a fun one to watch the next couple of years, because when you look at the boxes that you want to check as an offensive lineman, as we pull up this class in 2024, the boxes you want to check. Do you have the body? Do you have the frame? Absolute check in terms of Eddy Pierre-Louis. Absolute house. Then you look at, do you have the athleticism? The athleticism is so obvious for a guy like Eddy Pierre-Louis. When you have the size and you have the athleticism, that is what is kind of the making of what can be a really special offensive lineman. And I want to talk about another guy in this class that I'm starting to really fall in love with in terms of what he can be. You guys know I like Eugene Brooks. We covered him already. I'm going to scroll all the way down to one of the more slept on guys in this class, and that's Daniel Akinkunmi, coming over from London, that NFL Academy. This is another guy similar to Eddy Pierre-Louis in terms of the size, the athleticism, and he's only a 3-star because he's coming over from England. This is a guy that I think can play early and often. You're getting two guys in Eddy Pierre-Louis and Daniel A. that is such high upside in terms of the development, and that is what Oklahoma wants on that offensive line, especially moving to the SEC. Really, really excited to see what Brent Venables and the staff are doing on the trenches, because that is where a lot of these guys that you're really excited about, guys like Jaden Jackson, obviously scrolling up to Nigel Smith, David Stone, the trenches are a massive box check for the Oklahoma Sooners heading into the SEC play. And I want to talk a little bit about the transfer portal additions. Obviously, you landed Spencer Brown. This has been a massive conversation for Oklahoma is, what is this offensive line going to look like in 2024? Obviously, you have Caden Green going in the transfer portal. You have some guys going to the NFL draft. Oklahoma really trying to retool that offensive line. Two massive visitors lined up on the offensive line that I want to talk about. First one, and excuse me about the name, Fabichi Nwawu, coming from North Texas, and I apologize for the last name pronunciation. This is a guy, buzzed a little bit of his tape, looked at his numbers from the 2023 season. 6'4", 316, certainly has the body type to make that transition to the SEC. 427 pass pro attempts, only gave up 15 pressures and 0 sacks. You're talking about filling in that interior offensive line where you have to replace a lot of starting caliber players. This is a guy that's probably a plug-and-play guy if you're able to land him. I'd certainly be on the lookout for Oklahoma to land this one, especially with the transfer of Caden Green. I think the need for like immediately developing that interior offensive line, the urgency, that was probably the word I was looking for, is certainly higher for Oklahoma in terms of getting these bodies in who can come in and play right away. The next guy I want to take a look at, and this is a guy that has really impressed me in terms of what he did against Michigan. Obviously, you guys know Michigan's my team. Very good defensive line. Gino Vandermark. This is a guy that I didn't play a full season last year, but on 137 pass pros, he only gave up 7 pressures, 0 sacks. Really impressive against Michigan. I would encourage you guys, if he ends up committing to Oklahoma, go give that film a look. If you can handle that Michigan defensive line, I feel good about you handling SEC caliber defensive linemen. Had a really good game against Michigan. Think he has a lot of traits to be a really good offensive lineman. And at the end of the day, for Coach Bill B and this Oklahoma staff, you're pretty much looking to get as much depth and talent and competition as you can on this offensive line heading into that 2024 season. I think a guy like Fabichi, Gino Vandermark, certainly can add some depth, competition, and talent to this offensive line. A really big fan of Oklahoma, not only getting it done in the high school class, but making some moves in the transfer portal as well. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.